Family Guy has a talking dog, a husband who once forgot that he had a daughter for a whole year, and somehow the most dangerous person in that household is the one in a diaper. Why does this baby have a laser gun? Why does he talk like a Bond villain? And more importantly, why has nobody taken him seriously yet? Because Stewie Griffin is not just a baby. He's a 1-year-old with a superiority complex, a laser gun collection, and a bottomless pit of contempt for every single person who has ever existed, including and especially the woman who gave birth to him.
Mum! 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 Mummy! Mummy! Mama! Mama! Mama!
What?
Hi.
He's smarter than you, he knows it, he wants you to know it, and he will absolutely make your life a misery just to demonstrate the point.
And remember, the wrong keys are electrified. I don't want to play the piano. Indeed. Would you rather play the bassoon?
And that right there, that's exactly why we're here. We at Not Fair have gone through the archives and picked out the best moments of this spoiled Lois yelling brat getting the exact cold, rotting dish that he deserves, laid out for your viewing pleasure. Right, let's kick things off with the moment that shows you everything you need to know about who this Doom baby is as a person. Because the whole thing starts with something so minor, so utterly bloody trivial, that the fact it spiraled the way that it did tells you more about Stewie Griffin than any world domination scheme ever could. So Stewie's at the shop, just toddling around, possibly plotting something, probably eyeing the cereal aisle for future crimes, and some random woman takes one look at him and calls him a little girl. That's it, that's all she did. A throwaway comment in a supermarket from a woman who almost certainly never thought about it again, while Stewie thought about it for the rest of his life.
Hey, watch your fat arms.
Excuse me, ma'am. Your little girl dropped her teddy bear.
What? Little girl?
And then he goes home and finds out that his own parents have been calling him a girl too. Brian tries the sensible approach and tells Stewie he doesn't need to play a sport to prove he's a boy. Stewie looks him dead in the eye and says it has nothing to do with that. Then he joins a football team.
Shut up! Come on, Stewie. Are you still hung up about that woman at the grocery store thinking you're a girl?
Elton John is another.
It has nothing to do with that, Brian.
Right. Sure it doesn't. Now we want you to actually picture this for a second. This baby, with a head shaped like a literal American football, is now trying to play American football. Brian's watching him from the sideline, absolutely losing the plot because every single kid on that pitch is enormous compared to Stewie. He tries to pull him before it all goes wrong, but some woman in the crowd decides to have a pop at Stewie's size, and now Brian's too proud to back down. He has to encourage him. Brilliant. They let him on the field. One hit and the lights are completely out. He gets carted off to the hospital, and Brian spends the next hour trying to hide the whole thing from Lois while Chris helpfully makes everything 10 times worse, which is honestly impressive in its own right.
We don't need Lois. Chris, pretend to answer the phone.
Hello? Okay, yes, 1 second. Mom, it's for you!
What? No, damn it, Chris.
And here's the bit that kills us. After all of that, the embarrassment, the concussion, the hospital trip, the whole circus of it, the football coach comes in, sits next to Stewie's hospital bed and calls him a tough little guy and a real man. And that's what he needed. One comment from a stranger. He could have got that anywhere. He could have asked literally anyone. Instead, he joined a football team he had no business being on, took a hit that knocked him unconscious, and ended up in hospital just to hear 2 words from a man he'd never met before.
Knock, knock.
Coach Herrera? You came to see Stewie?
Yeah, I wanted to check in on this tough little guy.
Tough little guy?
The universe charged him a concussion for something he could have had for free. And the mad thing is, knowing Stewie, he probably still thinks it was worth it. We're not looking for a sappy ending, we need something to break this kid. Now the next one didn't break him, but it definitely did give him a warning. So Stewie has decided to take up beekeeping. Brian wanders in, finds out about it, and for reasons only Brian would understand, immediately suggests that they sell the honey at a farmer's market. They sell out completely, make a good profit. Everything's going well, and a sane person would just let it ride at that.
All right, since we sold out so fast, we've got to make these bees more productive, get them to make more honey.
How are we gonna do that?
But Stewie is not a sane person. Stewie is a 1-year-old with a god complex who has access to steroids. And his actual reason for how much to give the bees is that a horse wouldn't fit inside the hive box. Therefore, the whole bottle goes in. That's the full chain of thought that he ran through before drugging an entire beehive.
It says this is enough for a horse, so I don't know. How many bees is a horse?
Well, you can't fit a horse in this box, so I just used the whole thing.
That makes sense.
So now the bees are massive and absolutely furious, and they chase Stewie and Brian out of the farmer's market, down the street, and all the way home like something out of a nightmare. And here's where Stewie becomes a genuinely terrible person for a few seconds. He calls Meg and shoves her outside to deal with them. Not even a consideration about it, not a plan. He just identifies the nearest available griffin, uses her as a human meat shield, and legs it.
What the hell are we supposed to do? We're surrounded!
Hang on, I got this. Meg, come outside. We have Pinkberry.
He eventually chucks the hive over the fence, where it lands on Grob Gronkowski, NFL tight end, who recently moved in behind them. Gronk tries the honey, panics about a couple of bees, and leaves Quahog entirely. And you'd think that's the end of it. It's not. The steroids from the honey get Gronk to fail a drug test, which gets him suspended. And when he finds out why it happened, he picks up a bus and throws it directly at the griffin roof. A whole bus. Through the ceiling, because Stewie couldn't wait for natural honey production and decided a horse-sized dose of performance drugs was a perfectly sensible beekeeping technique. The one who paid the most? Meg, who didn't ask to be involved in any of this and got offered up to a swarm of chemically enhanced angry bees like a sacrifice. And the one who caused it all walked away without a scratch right up until the bus came through. Beautiful. Now, we've seen what happens when Stewie uses steroids on bees, but imagine what happens when Stewie uses steroids on himself. So there's a party at the Swansons. Everything's fine. Kids running about, adults probably drinking, and Stewie gets into a fight. He gets beaten up by Susie Swanson, a baby girl, over her Barbie doll.
Hey, I was playing with that! Hey, come back here! All right, you asked for it.
Holy crap!
All right, let's try that one
And mate, she did him in properly. Gave him an absolute hiding.
again.
And Peter, who witnesses this, decides that this is the single most shameful event in Griffin family history and hauls Stewie down to the boxing gym because apparently the correct response to your toddler losing a baby fight is a gym membership. Now, here's the bit that makes this so good. Stewie genuinely believes he's putting in the work. He thinks he's earning every bit of muscle through honest effort. He has no idea that some dodgy trainer is secretly pumping him full of steroids, while Peter stands nearby looking very pleased with himself.
Well, if there's anyone I can trust, it's a stranger at the gym holding a dirty needle. Here, Stewie, try this.
Yeah, what the?
When the results kick in, Stewie's jacked. Genuinely massive for a 1-year-old, which is a sentence we never expected to write, and I certainly didn't expect to read. And the second muscle shows up, so does a personality transplant. He starts treating the entire family like they're beneath him. Which they already were in his mind, but now he's got the arms to back it up. He terrorizes Brian specifically, just makes everyone's life miserable every single day. Peter has to call a secret family meeting about his own baby. They have a covert family operation to deal with their chemically altered infant. And then the steroids wear off.
Another day of being huge. Good morning, guns of Navarro. Oh no!
What's happening?
They don't just fade out gently, his skin goes completely loose, grotesquely, hideously floppy. He looks like someone let the air out of him. He jumps out of a bedroom window to escape the family chasing him, and the loose skin catches the air and he glides away like the world's most horrifying little parachute. He's got no rematch with Susie. He just spent weeks being an absolute monster to everyone who lives with him, and then flew out of a window on his own excess skin while the family ran after him. Susie Swanson remains completely unbothered, by the way. as she should be. Right, this next one was quite a shocker for us because it was Meg who dished out the karma. The one person who seems to be the bottom feeder of the family broke Stewie's mind with a timeout. Peter and Lois head off to a Red Sox fantasy baseball camp. Lois is about to leave Brian in charge of the kids. Simple enough. And then Meg pipes up and says she wants to be in charge. Brian actually tries to warn her. He genuinely, sincerely, with complete good intentions, looks at her and tries to explain that she has no idea what she's walking into. Meg simply waves him off.
And you're still putting the dog in charge?
Believe me, Meg, you want me in charge. Stewie can be a bit of a handful.
He's right, you know. I'm a total Taurus, stubborn as they come.
All right, fine. Meg, while we're away, you can be in charge.
Oh boy. The moment that door closes, Stewie looks around, clocks that Meg is in charge, and immediately starts testing everything he can possibly get away with. He taunts her, he threatens her, he's obnoxious and demanding and makes it abundantly clear that he considers her the lowest possible authority figure he has ever encountered.
Day.
Okay, Stewie, time for you to get dressed.
Yeah, a closed door means come in, I guess. What the hell do you think you're doing?
Because in Stewie's world, Meg is at the bottom of the food chain. She always has been. So why would he treat her any differently to how the rest of the family does? What he didn't account for is that Meg's had a lifetime of being treated like shit, and she's developed a certain patience for it that most people don't have. She doesn't argue with him. She doesn't chase him around the house. She doesn't even beg him to stop. She just puts him in timeout and closes the door.
Right now. You just earned a timeout.
Oh, what? Let go of me!
Don't you walk away.
Hey, don't bruise me! I'm going dancing later!
Normal timeout? Sure. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Lesson learned. Everyone moves on, right? This is not that. Brian ate a pot cookie and checked completely out of the situation.
Stewie, Lois put Meg in charge, and honestly, once I knew that, I ate a pot cookie, so...
Meg gets distracted, and Stewie just sits in that room, alone, for 6 hours. 6 bloody hours of waiting for someone to come and tell him he can come out. The baby who once held the entire world hostage is sitting in a bedroom with the door shut, and nobody comes. Let's think about what that does to someone with Stewie's ego. This is a being who considers himself superior to every human being alive, and he got beaten by a door and a sister who forgot he existed.
Don't eat that. That's Stewie's lunch. Oh my God, Stewie! I forgot he's been in a timeout for 6 hours.
When they finally panic and go looking for him, they find out he just walked himself home at some point and was sitting there waiting. Fine. Physically fine. But he was so rattled by the whole thing that by the time they found him, he'd forgotten Meg's name entirely.
Hey, what's this, a dickweed convention?
Stewie!
Oh, thank God you're home.
Where the hell have you been?
As far away from her as possible. I forgot her name, honestly.
6 hours in a room. This genuinely couldn't have been better written karma to shatter Stewie's mind, but it wasn't, because if it was, we wouldn't be talking about another episode. Now, this episode has a different kind of karma. No one's punching him or throwing a bus at his house. It's just Stewie's own greed and a medical system that doesn't accommodate stupidity. Stewie hurts his back for real this time, and he goes to Dr. Hartman and gets diagnosed with scoliosis. They fit him with a back brace, and Stewie, absolutely certain this is going to make his life miserable, braces himself for the worst. And then everyone starts fussing over him, treating him like he's fragile, giving him everything he asks for before he asks for it. People are falling over themselves to accommodate this baby and his brace and his supposedly delicate spine.
There's our brave guy.
Brave?
And just for being such a trooper, I thought maybe you could be the first in line for snack today.
Really? On pretzel day?
Stewie processes this for about 4 seconds and decides that this is the greatest thing that has ever happened to him. So when the doctor tells him the scoliosis has healed and the brace can come off, Stewie keeps it on. He continues accepting every bit of sympathy and special treatment while being perfectly healthy underneath the whole thing. He even uses it to jump the queue at the park, nudging past everyone while announcing he has scoliosis. At this point, he's no different from his dad when he found out he was...
Here they are, Brian, my test results. Read them and weep.
Peter, according to this, you're not a genius. In fact, you're mentally retarded.
And look, we get it. Free attention. Everyone treats you like you're made of glass. Nobody asks anything of you. Who doesn't love the appeal? But here's the thing. Wearing a brace you don't need for long enough has real consequences. Don't you just smell the karma breaking in? His neck muscles stop having to do anything, so they stop working. They atrophy. And now the brace isn't something he's choosing to wear. He physically can't hold up his own head without it. He goes back to the doctor and gets fitted with a new one. This thing is enormous. He decorates it with Christmas lights, which is honestly the most optimistic thing anyone has ever done in this show. Does he get the same warmth and sympathy as he does the first time? Of course not. The kids tell him to get off the swing. He narrates, years later, that the kindness lasted exactly one day, and then it was just people calling him a Christmas turd.
I worked for the next 5 years of my life. They stopped cheering the second day. Then it was just, get off the swing, you Christmas turd.
He faked a medical condition to hold on to attention he'd already been given for free. And what he got in return was a real medical condition and years of being mocked by children at a playground. I don't know how you look at that and not see the hand of the universe that is specifically, personally, and deliberately taking the piss out of Stewie Griffin. And here we are. The big one. And we mean big one. Because everything we've talked about today, every bit of embarrassment, backfired plan, and bruised ego, all of it is small change compared to what happens in this two-parter. This is the one where Stewie actually tries to follow through on the thing he's been promising since episode 1. So, Brian gives Peter and Lois cruise tickets as a gift. Lovely gesture. And Lois, without a single moment of consideration for how Stewie might feel about being left behind, assumes the tickets are for her and Peter, grabs them, and that's the end of the conversation. Stewie, who has spent the entire run of the show monologuing about murdering his mother, decides today is the day he stops monologuing.
Hello, Mother.
Stewie? What the hell are you? How did you get here?
He stows away on the ship, corners Lois, gives her this enormous speech about everything he resents about her, and then shoots her and watches her go overboard into the ocean. And for a brief, genuinely wild few moments, it seems like Stewie would. Like he'd actually done it. But of course, Lois survives. She always does. She comes back, exposes Stewie to the whole town. And Stewie, rather than accept defeat, just escalates to an absolutely insane degree. He escapes. He kills Cleveland along the way. And then he actually pulls off world domination.
1994, and won't admit the damn thing isn't funny anymore. Really pissed. I've got them on the list. They're none.
Every country, every government. All of it is under Stewie Griffin, president of the entire planet. And then Lois, who has now decided that reasonable parenting is off the table, shows up acting like a Black Widow incarnate, hunting her own baby down through the corridors of the White House. They have this massive fight. Lois gets the upper hand, and then she can't bring herself to pull the trigger because he's still her son at the end of it. She drops her weapon, Stewie raises his, and then Peter wanders in. Peter, who has absolutely no idea what's happening, walks into the Oval Office, looks at the situation, and just shoots Stewie.
It's just been revoked.
Really set you up for that lethal weapon line. It doesn't really work here. Oh.
But here's the thing. None of it was real. Stewie built himself a computer simulation to model what would happen if he actually tried to kill Lois and take over the world. He wanted to see how it played out before committing. He ran every scenario, every possibility, mapped out the whole bloody thing. And what did the simulation tell him? That even if he pulls it off perfectly, even if he kills her, survives the fallout, achieves world domination, becomes the most powerful being on the planet, his mum comes back, beats him half to death through the White House, and then his dad stumbles in by accident and shoots him in the head without even knowing why. He ran the numbers and lost to his own dad, who didn't even know he was there. Stewie steps out of the simulation and tells Brian things didn't work out so well in there, and then concludes that his plans will have to wait. That's it. That's the karma. The character who's been threatening world domination since the very first episode sat down, ran every outcome, and the universe looked back at him through his own simulation and told him to piss off. The baby who wanted to rule the world couldn't survive a closed door, a bored teenager, and a man who wandered into the Oval Office by accident. He could have just asked for a compliment. He could have sold natural honey. He could have taken the brace off. And he did none of those things. And we are so glad that he didn't. All right, it's time for me to go touch grass so we can skip therapy. Cheerio!